personal thoughts and opinion on Marvel's Avengers. Now, I know a lot of people have done multiple videos on pretty much their thoughts on how the game has been for them, and you know, it's been a little rough for the past month and a half. I'll say that. So here I'm going to talk to you guys about my personal thoughts and opinion on the game, and what I thought was in there, what I didn't think was going to be on there, you know, back and forth. So kickstart with the game here. I'm playing as Captain America, as you can tell, and I'm just pretty much trying to figure out what missions to play, what characters I want to choose, you know, so on and so on. So for since September 4th, well, let me start off by saying this. You know, a lot of folks have bought the game during launch day, and they've all experienced technical difficulties. I was one of the people that bought the game days before its release date. I got the deluxe edition. Some folks have said that they spent $60 on a game that they didn't like. For me, I feel like I spent more like $70 on this game, because I was so anticipating on seeing exactly what kind of game this was going to be. And honestly, there were people that said they weren't going to buy this game because they knew that there were issues going on with it. They kind of suspected there was going to be some content on here that they didn't like. With me, I tried to just, you know, get my thoughts on it. I wanted to get the game because I wanted to see exactly how bad people said it was, because I was anticipating a game like this for a long time. Ever since they released the trailer for it, and then on E3, they announced that they was going to do like a Marvel Avengers game, and I was pretty pumped. I was excited for it. Not only that, I was also anticipated on a more campaign type story, almost kind of similar to like Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 that came out 2 years ago. That was a great game. Even to this day, I still play it. And here, I thought it was going to have that kind of feel to it. I knew they was going to add like multiplayer on here, but I wasn't expecting it to be like, you know, how everyone will say it, an endless grind. And believe me when I tell you that it's actually an endless grind. There were times I had nothing else left to do, and I was just that bored to where I started playing the game. So here is where we kick-started. So with Marvel's Avengers, we know that there was some technical issues as far as like bugs and finding players to match with on the online concept. And you know, people were saying that they had a hard time trying to find friends on here. They not only was they were trying to find friends, they game mostly crashed on them during the multiplayer. People were complaining how some NPCs weren't acting properly, characters were not showing on the map. Not only that, when you play online, people weren't really I guess you could say that people were having a hard time controlling their character. They kept freezing up on them, like weren't able to do certain things they wanted to do on there. And then not only that, they kept getting kicked out of the session. Normally when it comes to multiplayer games, a lot of multiplayer games tend to do that, but not to where it was a continuation. Like I remember I was playing with some friends, and we was going to start on a hive mission. Right when the game started, that's when I realized that I was playing with my AIs. Like I thought at first I was like, why is my teammates acting like this? And then I realized that I was actually playing with my AIs and not with my teammates. And I was like, how did this even happen? Like, what is going on? So I noticed that was one of my first issues. Another issue I would say is the fact that I was not expecting to constantly play a game where I'm continuing playing as this person. No, not person. I would say the map. The whole in-game thing going on. I started for a moment I was starting to enjoy it, but then after a while, I felt as if like I was constantly playing the same mission over and over again, along with the map. Like there was no variety. There was no. Pretty much like the objectives were the same. And then let's talk about the enemy type. So in the game, there's only 3 bosses. You have Taskmaster, which you fight in the beginning of the game, and then somewhere along in the campaign, then you fight Abomination. And of course, at the end of the game, of course, of those who have played it, which I'm sure that some folks have, and even if those who hasn't played it, can tell who the big bad boss is, and of course, that's MODOK. So you pretty much only have 3 big bosses in the whole entire Marvel's Avengers. And to me, I actually thought that I was going to be playing up against like other Marvel villains. I actually thought they were going to add other villains on here because, you know, I was not expecting to play against robots and the bosses having to be like giant robots, and it just didn't feel like an Avengers game. It literally did not feel like it was an Avengers game. It felt as if that it was just pretty much a repeat of every mission in the game, especially when it comes to like the hives and all that. It's like it's just the same task. Like you have to go down here, mash some buttons, you have to stand on a square and pretty much hack a terminal, then you have to destroy like 3 out of 4 objectives in order to advance. And it just became so repetitive to where it's like, what else is there to do? I have played games to where I've gotten so bored to it, like I couldn't even finish it. But when it came to Avengers, I really gave it a chance. I really tried. Like, I'm not trying to say that this is the worst game I've ever played, but honestly, I kind of expected a little bit more from a, what do you call, a big title like this itself. When I'll give it an example. So when Marvel Spider-Man came out, we all know that this was going to be a game changer, because given that Marvel has always made Spider-Man games, they've always made Spider-Man games from the Tobey Maguire to Field to Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and then Web of Shadows. They've made multiple, and I mean multiple, Spider-Man games to where it's like each of them were good in its own time. Like, to me, I would say out of all the Spider-Man games that came out, the ones I would constantly play the most before Marvel Spider-Man came out was Spider-Man Web of Shadows. And I liked it because it was a different feel to a Spider-Man game. Not only did you get to play as Spider-Man in both the red and the black suit, but I just liked his combat. It was so fluent. It was like I had a combo attached to it. Like you have no idea how great it was. Like, I was enjoying that game. Like, I never did play the Shattered Dimensions. I never played the Edge of Time games. I did play the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and I would say out of both of those, I would say I did kind of like the first one better than I did the second one, because I feel like the second one wasn't, how would I put it, it wasn't completed when it came to combat along with web swinging. But when Marvel's Spider-Man came out, that changed everything. One, I never did expect the game to be so... It made you feel like you was Spider-Man, just like the developer said. This game will make you feel like you are Spider-Man. And so with the Avengers, I expected that kind of feel from this game. Like, I feel like I was playing as either Avenger, like either I was playing as Cap or Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, the Hulk. I actually felt like I was going to play as one of these characters. But here, it's just like most people would say, it's more of it's a live service. Now, when it comes to live services, I've never played games like Destiny or Anthem. But what I can say is I did watch some gameplays of them to see like exactly what people were talking about. And I can see that Marvel's Avengers kind of ties into that area. Like, they was trying to make it a game where it would last a long time, which I see what the developers were trying to do. They were trying to make this game last where, you know, players will never get tired of it. I think that's why they did the whole endless in-game content. But it just, to me, I just don't think it would work. Honestly, if I had a choice, I wish I could have went back and just waited until they actually got all the bugs fixed on the game. And you know, with me, I'm a big superhero guy, so I guess even like people were saying that they didn't want this game to succeed and stuff like that. Like, I was one of those that was like, you know what, I want this game to succeed. I wanted to prove people wrong that this is not what you guys think it was when it came to this game. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be this bugged out. Like, I didn't expect this game to be a live service. I didn't expect it to be not an open world, because with me, I like open world games. I like with Spider-Man, I can, you know, I can go back and forth, play the game, you know, not having to worry about it. Here, it's like, you can't even do that. There's no open world. There's no, you can't replay the campaign. I thought the game was going to be a little bit longer when it came to the campaign, which, you know, 8 hours ain't that bad. Normally, I would play a game for like 10 to 12 hours, maybe the same length as Marvel Spider-Man was. It was like about 19 to 20 hours to finish, if you included all the side missions and all that. And that's kind of a thing I thought of this game. I thought there was going to be some side mission content, you know, a chance to interact with some other Marvel heroes in this universe, because I believe that the only other character in this game is Hank Pym. Of course, he's never been addressed to as Ant-Man. He's just been addressed as Dr. Pym, but I'm pretty sure around the time he was Ant-Man, but I'm pretty sure they never explained that. But yeah, you have characters like that, and then not to mention, we were supposed to be getting a Hawkeye and Kate Bishop DLC, which they pushed that back because developers, Square Enix, wanted to work out some of the bugs that was going on with this game. So with that being in mind, you know, I wanted to say that, you know, Marvel's Avengers could have been a great game, only if there was more added to this, if the bugs were already situated before release date, if they've added more content instead of just the endless grind, and which I'm going to talk to you about the grind system. The grind system is very, very crazy. Like, I can honestly say that I spent some hours, and I mean literally some hours, trying to collect all the best gear. And at first it wasn't as bad, but I guess it's like when you kept leveling up your character here, like I got capped at 110, and of course his level is 150, is 50. But every time I kept leveling up his power level, it's like some of the gear that I have won't go any higher. And it's like, so it's basically I have to constantly dismantle half of my gear to gain some resources in order to upgrade my power level. Now, one thing I noticed with this is that I really didn't have to upgrade my gear for real, because one, it was a waste of time. Not only that, it was a waste of resources to upgrade your gear when I could have just kept leveling up my power level to where I can constantly just use whatever gear is given to me depending on my power level, and then wait till I get to about level 130 of my power to where I can start using those resources. And with that, I noticed that I ran out of so many resources when like Hulk right now is my highest character. I had him at 150. He was the player I played the most. And with Hulk, I constantly drained all my resources to where I finally got him to 150. Like, right, what you see right here, I did not have all of my resources all the way up to about 1,000 to 3,000. I didn't have any of that. Like, mainly it was down to like 100 and less, and I just was like, I cannot believe I wasted all this energy just so I can upgrade Hulk. It just felt like it was just a waste of time. So what I did was, instead of just doing that, I decided upon myself that I'm not going to constantly keep doing this to my character. So I decided that I was going to wait until I got my resources up enough to where when I start upgrading, that I don't have to worry about I gotta go get out of resources, I gotta go get that. Like, I didn't have to worry about that. It was just here where I guess it didn't really make much, the gear system doesn't really make much of a difference. It doesn't make much of a difference. It's only the fact that some gears are good in combat where others aren't, and that's where you have to pretty much have to understand and try and get an understanding exactly what is it that you're trying to do when it comes to the gear. Like, do you want to have take enough, like, reduce damage from like plasma attack or cryo attacks, or do you want to have your heroic ability to be enough to where that it won't drain as fast as it should? And you know, it's just crazy. I can honestly say I wish that the game was better than I thought. So with that, I can say Marvel's Avengers, it could have been a great game. It really could have been a great game. Do I hate the game? I don't hate it that much. I don't hate the game that much. I will say that the game can be it can be boring when there's nothing else left to do except for these in-game things. Like, for instance, the Mega Hive. When they added the Mega Hive, I was kind of frustrated with that, because not only that you have to upgrade your character to 150, well, they say that you don't have to upgrade your character all the way to get to there, but even when I had Hulk at 150, I have Hulk at 150, I have Thor at 135 or 131. I'm sorry if I may be wrong about that. It may be 135 or so, but with that, they were the only two high characters I had, while everyone else, right, I just now got Iron Man up to 130. Cap right now, of course, his level is 111. And Black Widow and Miss Marvel, I've got them at least less than 50. So it was, the Mega Hive was like I said, it was another one of those missions where the objectives were the same, the floors were the same, and the only difference is that the wave of enemies. With the Mega Hive, you have to have your characters at a certain level, a power level, in order to play this. Because, say for instance, right now my highest character is Hulk, and if I got to a certain floor and Hulk dies, they're gonna start me off with the next character that's higher than, well, that's the second highest, the Hulk, which is Thor, and I start playing with him until I beat it. Now, I never did complete the Mega Hive because, again, at first I was a bit frustrated on how it was set up, because, you know, I didn't take as much time to upgrade any other character, because believe me, trying to max out everybody was a grind. Like, it was literally a grind. Like, I just felt like I felt like my head was hurting, because I couldn't even remember exactly how far along I was when it comes to upgrading each character. Like, Hulk was each character took me the longest to do. Hulk was the first one I maxed out, not only with his power level, his actual levels, like skill tree wise, but also his challenge card. Hulk was the first character I completed almost everything with, and next was Thor, and then next was Iron Man. Which Iron Man, I just completed both Iron Man and Captain America's challenge. Okay. And when I say that it was a literally grind, because I will say this: when you go to the challenge card here, you have these so-called daily challenges and objectives. Right here, this is where the grind starts, because, of course, this is more of what they would say microtransaction. So you pretty much have to complete these daily tasks to where you earn points, and each point will bring you up to getting a certain resource, certain emote, nameplate, cosmetic, and so forth and so on, along with units and credits, in order for you to, again, purchase. And with this, I felt that it was a waste of time. Like, after I finished Captain America's challenge card, I had to go back and look at all of that I had, and I realized I cannot believe I spent that much on this. Like, I kid thee not. Like, it was literally a grind. It was so time consuming. I've never spent that much time on any game that long. I would say the longest I probably spent the most on was Rockstar's games, Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5. But this right here, I never thought I would have to grind this much for a game like this, and it was so stressful, because recently I became what you would call a completionist, which I'm going to get to that soon. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know how they was able to make this happen. Like, I wish Crystal Dynamics took a little bit more time in trying to fix out the bugs that was going on with this game. Like, I don't know what they were thinking about when they decided to turn this game into like a microtransaction. Like, I understand you got to make the money where it's at, but really, like, when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially with the challenge card and all that, you have to ask yourself, do you want to spend all the time trying to beat everyone's challenge card, or do you just want to go ahead and buy the credits, which of course that's going to cost some money in order to do it that way. I think I will honestly say I've only spent money twice on this game when it came to the challenge cards, but only because that I only wanted to use it to get like the certain cosmetic or emote. But other than that, I stopped spending it after a while, because again, it was too much. Like what were y'all thinking? Like, come on. Like you got one of the biggest titles right now, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm a big Marvel DC guy, and you know, Spider-Man is considered one of my favorite Marvel characters, and Hulk is my favorite Marvel character as well. And when this game came out, I guess I had a lot of expectations. Like, I really was expecting this to be, you know, that type of game. One where I'll never get tired of playing. One I can go back and forth to play, but right now, no, it wasn't like that. It turned out to be like Destiny, like people were saying. It's like Destiny or Anthem. Like, they tried their hardest, and yeah, they didn't do so well with that. Right now, a lot of people now, they're not even playing this game anymore due to the fact that, one, they're already tired of all the bugs that's going on with it. Like, they're, again, like matchmaking, like they weren't able to play with their friends. Sessions were getting kicked out, and then the menu screen was loading, which that wasn't an issue to me until recently. Another thing is the fact of the endless grind, in-game challenges. Like, it became so repetitive and boring to where some folks just had to get off the game. Like, some folks said they're not getting back on there until they started adding some more stuff, or if they start fixing some of the bugs that's going on in the game. Because, again, you know, the game did have some bugs, and if you haven't played the beta, I guess some people already based their opinion on the game when they first played the beta, because the beta, when it came to the beta, it's just like that. It's just like that. Nothing new added to it. Like, it's just exactly how they played the beta, and I guess some people just wasn't very interested in the game. Then let's talk about the campaign. Now, in Marvel's Avengers, the campaign, you play as, of course, Kamala Khan. A lot of people wasn't so familiar with Kamala Khan because, number one, you don't really see much, you don't really hear much about Kamala except if you watch like the Marvel shows on Disney XD. But as far as Kamala's character goes, like, to me, I knew who Miss Marvel was. But anyone that's a first time playing a Marvel game, that's only known Marvel based on the movies, they don't know exactly who Miss Marvel is. And a lot of people just wasn't feeling her character. Which, to me, I see why they went about it, is because, you know, Miss Marvel is young, she's a superhero fanatic, you know, and her purpose in the game was to pretty much reunite the Avengers during A-Day. So during the beginning of the game, you start off as young Kamala, who pretty much won a superhero contest, or one of the contestants for the contest. And while you playing as her, you pretty much get to go around, collect comic books, meet all the characters. Like, first you come across Thor, then you come across against Captain America, then you come across with Black Widow, and then Iron Man, so forth and so on. So you pretty much start off playing as her, and not only do you play as her, you also get to play as all the Avengers, starting off with Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and Black Widow. Reason why Hawkeye's not in there, which I don't know why I guess they're starting to treat Hawkeye as like he's a secondary fiddle, but again, we'll get to that point later. But yeah, you play as of all 5 Avengers until the Avengers fail to stop an attack that caused an explosion where the Inhumans are introduced. Now, for those who don't know, the Inhumans are kind of like the mutants of the Marvel universe, except I was told they're more powerful. And the thing about the Inhumans is that we don't really get a chance to know the impact of what all the other Inhumans are going through. Like, we never get to fight any Inhuman. The only Inhuman character that we pretty much know so much about right now is Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan. But other than that, there was so much potential they could have added to that. There could have been like an Inhuman war going on where they're trying their best to capture all Inhumans throughout the world, which I believe that's what AIM was doing. But it would have been better if they had it to where it was the U.S. government trying to register the Inhumans, kind of like what they did with Civil War, in a way. Get all the Inhumans and get the Avengers, or pretty much blame the Avengers for the cause of the Terrigen myth going on. And there was so much they could have done with that story, but again, it didn't turn out to be that way. And not only that, there was one Inhuman that I actually recognized that a lot of people don't know, and it was the fire guy by the name of Inferno. Now, I knew about Inferno. I thought he would have been a great addition added to the story, but we've only seen him maybe once or twice, and again, another wasted potential. Bosses for another thing. I wish they added more bosses to the game, because again, I understand that, you know, AIM hasn't really gotten much recognition. There's always been character like Marvel have always looked over AIM as like the secondary fiddle. And you know, MODOK on the other hand, MODOK is a very interesting character, but I just wish that they added more variety to it. Like, yeah, MODOK could still be the big bad. I just wish they added other characters in there that would have posed a challenge for each of the Avengers. Like, for let's say, like, it was Abomination was a good choice. Another villain I would have probably chose in the mix would probably been Baron Zemo for Captain America. Or we could have saw Crimson Dynamo or Ivan Vanko as Crimson Dynamo, or Whiplash. Like, we did get a tease of Loki in one of Thor's iconic missions, but again, we don't know what they're gonna go about with that choice. I mean, and I know I would probably say Doctor Doom, but I would save Doctor Doom for like another video game, because he's one of a big bad for the Avengers. But like, again, I do like the idea of having MODOK as the main big bad, even though they did change MODOK's origin story a bit, but the way they went about it, I kind of like it. And for Hero, we're supposed to be getting deals with Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, but again, that's been pushed back. We was also supposed to be getting Black Panther, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, so forth and so on. We were supposed to get multiple heroes, but with the way Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix are going right now, I guess they're going to hold off on it until they can start busting out some of the issues going on with Marvel's Avengers right now. And not only that, we're also supposed to be getting some new challenges, new maps, new missions. And with that, I just wish that there was more to do in this game. Because again, just doing the missions back and forth, it does get repetitive, it does get boring. I just wish they added more variety to it, because again, if you played this so many times, it's like you already know exactly how this game's gonna be. So I just wish that they taken their time with it. I don't hate the game, I just wish that there was more added to it. But again, on the campaign, not to get off sidetrack, but on the campaign, there were some cutscenes that were frozen. There were some missions to where you kind of had to scratch your head at, like, did they really have to go with this? But you know, again, it's Marvel's Avengers, and I guess they were just trying to iron out some of the kinks and all of that. But you know, it's just crazy. I don't know what to say. Like, it's not Spider-Man, it's not Batman Arkham. It's just saying, I just wish that they put a little bit more thought into it instead of just trying to money grab, because you know, it is a title property, and some people kind of wish that Insomniac, the same company that made the Marvel Spider-Man, was the ones that made the Avengers game, which I don't think they would have ever did that. But again, I just wish that they did a little bit more with the combat instead of it just being butt mashing. and all that. So again, sorry, I was thirsty, but yeah, I just wish they added more variety. I just took their time on it. I know they had an initial release date for this game back in May, and they had to push it back, which I was okay with that because they would have given them some time to work out some of the bugs going on with it. I didn't mind waiting, but now people are saying they wish they could have just pushed it back a little bit more. And again, there's just so much needed to be done on here that, again, I couldn't really play this game this much. Like, this has to be, I got off this game 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, and I just got back on it because Square Enix had said that they were going to give some bundle packs of units, credits, emotes, nameplates, so forth and so on, because the fact that they had to delay some of the upcoming events to the game. So again, the game, like I said, the game is not bad. They just needed time to work and go from there. But again, if you like the game, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not bashing. This is not people that still love this game, because there are times I still play it. I'm not bashing about it or anything like that, but I'm not also bashing people that talk bad about the game either, because again, I like the game. I wanted more from the game, and I know there's so much they could do with this game. It's just that, as what people always say, it's an unfinished game. I just wish they had more stuff added to it. I just wish that there were more to do on here, but again, it's not. So for those who like the game, continue playing it. If you don't like it, then don't play it. I'm not here to tell you that you should or you shouldn't. This is just my personal opinion about the game, and I just wanted to give my opinion on it because I spent a lot of hours on the game. I even platinum this game, and let me tell you, the trophy system is. I would say I'm a completionist. Mostly every game I play, I try to complete it to about 100%. Even with trophies, Marvel's Avengers has become my 20th platinum trophy game. Every other game I played, yeah, it was a grind, but at least it was a grind to where I constantly kept coming back and playing it. Whereas this one, it didn't feel that way. It just, the trophy system, like I would say the two main trophies that was the most, and I mean the stressful one, was To the Dark and Back Again and Holding It Down. Now, To the Dark and Back Again, that trophy was mainly where you have to complete 50 hive missions. And you know, every time I played a hive mission, it felt like I was losing count of how many times I done did this, and I was like about to give up. One morning I came up and started playing one last hive mission, and I ended up getting the trophy. But I knew for a fact I played that so many times where I should have already gotten that trophy. But again, it was another grind. And then also playing where the Holding It Down trophy, where I had to complete 30 challenges with a challenge rating 3 or higher. That alone was also a grind, and it was not a fun grind. It was more of a tedious grind. Like, I had to work for that. Like, I had to put in so much time just to get there. And again, like, I don't like games like that. I want to be able to play a game where I can come back and play it so many times, and then two, I can pretty much go back and forth on the game without even feeling bored. Like with Spider-Man, like, even though Spider-Man was the first game I've ever platinum, and to this day I still play the game because I enjoy playing as Spider-Man. I enjoy playing as him. Here I sometimes have to debate whether if I want to get back on the game or not, and I just don't like that. It's not as fun as you would want it to be. I try to make Marvel's Avengers fun, but it's not as fun as it should be. So I just don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just me that just, you know, wants the game to be great. I don't know. I like I said, I want it to be great, but with the whole delays, like, it makes me not even want to get back on it, because it's like, again, I was expecting, you know, the DLC of Kate Bishop to come out so I can have something new to play, and then also on top of that, play as a new character. But now when they push that back, now it's just making me think that, okay, maybe I'm not going to be on this game for a little while. I just couldn't do it no more. So with that, I don't want to be back on here. So this is my opinion on the game. It could be great, but right now we're just gonna just take a break from it for a while. If Crystal Dynamics or Square Enix decide to post some more content on there, that's probably when I get back on the game, is when they start adding like new maps, new DLCs, new characters. But for right now, I think I'm just going to just take a break from it for a while, play on some other games. So just let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you like the game, that's great. If not, that's also great. I'm just here to just give you my thoughts and my opinions on the game, and we'll, you know, just go from there. And later on, I may start doing other reviews and opinions on other games that I've played, especially those like Spider-Man, the Batman Arkham series, games like that. I'll give my personal thoughts and opinion on it, because those games I've also platinum as well. So just stick around, and welcome to Kent Wayne Entertainment. And again, if, you know, we'll just see where this game goes. And if those who haven't bought the game, if you want to wait until they start dropping more content or fix the bugs, and that's what, and you know, et cetera, if you're waiting on to that, that's fine. You know, the game's still gonna be here, and hopefully that they'll be able to fix some of the issues and problems that's been going on with this game. And until then, we'll see y'all later.